It's Brower. If you like this type of content, please take a moment to like and subscribe. It'll help with that algorithm. Without farther ado, let's talk prepping for Witch Queen. The new Witch Queen expansion comes to Destiny on February 22nd. Whether you are a newer Guardian or a longtime Lightbearer, I hope this guide will give you some tips and ideas to help be prepared to take on Savathun and her Lucent Brood. In this guide, we're going to cover 5 main topics to consider when preparing for the start of the new expansion. Stored XP, materials prep, resources and weapons prep, vault space, and glimmer prep. Stored XP is XP you prepared during the current season that you can utilize once the new season starts. This will let you level up the season pass a few levels on day 1 to get a quicker season pass boost to XP. The first 2 bonuses unlock at levels 5 and 7 of the season pass generally. And start unlocking seasonal mods earlier. I'll have a video on the new seasonal artifact mods during the first week of the new season. Also remember that when turning in stored XP through bounties, to have on the Blinding Light Ghost mod for 12% additional XP, and for the first 5 levels gained each week, there is a well-rested bonus to give double XP. Storing XP is done through completing bounties and not turning them in once complete. The most important bounties to save are weekly bounties worth 12,000 XP. You can get these from Eris Morn and the Lectern of Enchantment on the Moon through the Shadowkeep expansion, from Varix on Europa, from the Beyond Light expansion, and from Shah Han in the Cosmodrome, which is available to free-to-play new Light players. After the weekly bounties, the next step is to fill in extra space with daily bounties. I would suggest first using bounties from destinations. These include Nessus, the EDZ, the Cosmodrome, Europa, and the Moon. Do not save bounties for the Tangled Shore, which is a destination leaving for the Destiny Content Vault with the release of the new expansion, or the Dreaming City, whose bounties do not reward XP. Lastly, you can save daily bounties for the Vanguard, Crucible, Gambit playlists, as well as the Gunsmith. However, Bungie has said some of these bounties will not carry over, and so they may disappear when the new season starts, and we don't know which bounties these are. Lastly, it is important to note that between your quests and bounties, you can have a total of 63. I would suggest having your quest tab as empty as possible and filling in the rest of the slots with bounties. Make sure to leave at least 1 to 2 open slots to receive the new quest to start the new expansion and season. Alright, let's move on to materials prep. When it comes to materials, we are looking at destination materials. Destiny recipes suggest having 2,000 of each material, and I think this is a good ballpark figure to aim for heading into a new season or expansion. We're looking at Etheric Spiral from the Tangled Shore, Dusklight Shards from the EDZ, Spin Metal Leaves from the Cosmodrome, Glacial Stalwart from Europa, Helium Filaments from the Moon, Microphasic Daedalus from Nessus, and Barren Boughs from the Dreaming City. The materials can be exchanged to Spider once Witch Queen releases to Master Rahul instead for Glimmer exchange, and are used to purchase enhancement prisms and upgrade modules on a rotating basis. Alright, looking at resources and weapons prep. Another video I'll release before Witch Queen. Resources, starting with legendary shards. The shards are a key currency throughout much of the game, used for Umbral Engram focusing, upgrade modules, raid banners, upgrading weapons and armor, infusing weapons and armor to higher power levels, purchasing items from Zur each weekend, weekly vendor weapons and armor purchases, and repurchasing exotics from collections. Enhancement cores are used to masterwork weapons and armor, purchase enhancement prisms, and you can stack up to 999 plus the stacks in the vault. Enhancement prisms also are for masterworking weapons and armor, and for purchasing Ascendant shards. You can stack 50 plus 1 stack per postmaster. Ascendant shards are used to masterwork armor. You can hold 10 plus 1 stack per postmaster. Upgrade modules are used for infusing weapons and armor, changing energy affinity for armor. You can stack 25. Last week of the new season, I'll release a video on how to effectively use or not waste materials like this, and a lot of that has to do with infusion, since upgrade modules will use plenty of the other materials as well. Spoils of Conquest. come from raid encounter and secret chests on the first run each week per class, and from encounter chests on subsequent runs of the same class during the week, and can be used to reroll already earned raid weapons and armor. You can stack up to 240, except for me, because I'm still rolling Succession without Reconstruction Vorpal. RIP Bungie RNG. For everyone else, having a nice stat going into the new raid release will enable quicker rolling of new raid weapons. Lastly, Paraversal Haul from the 30th anniversary event. It looks like these boxes will give you, through the possible legendary gear drops in them, dropping soft cap gear, which means you can stack them, spend them, and quickly get gear that will help you level up under the soft cap to jumpstart your leveling when Witch Queen releases. This could be really useful. Destiny Recipe suggests having at least 3,000 shards, 200 enhancement cores, and full stacks of prisms, ascendant shards, and upgrade modules. I tend to agree with all of this, and you can see I have personally gone a little bit farther for a lot of these through just playing and not spending that many legendary shards and enhancement cores compared to what I earn. I suggest also just saving as many spoils and paraversal boxes as is practical for you. If you're over any of the amounts they say here, you'll be okay heading into the new season. Even if it is nice to have extras, having 18,000 legendary shards or over 1,000 enhancement cores isn't strictly necessary. It's just a nice bonus, and you can know you're safe in that you can spend them and not really have to worry about them. All right, next we're going to move into weapons. I don't really plan on going into specifics, but I want to cover some basic concepts here going forward. So we are going to have weapon crafting system in Witch Queen, and this is new. So specifics aren't really necessary. However, what I want to suggest is aiming to have at least one kinetic weapon and one of each energy burn for a given type of weapon for all primary ammo weapon types. This will enable flexibility heading into the season for champion mods and match game shield modifiers in in-game content. To use an example, I will consider auto rifles. In the kinetic, I've saved rolls I like on both Last Breath and Chroma Rush, and in the energy slot, I have Summoner for Solar, Arc Logic for Arc, and Gnawing Hunger, or Reckless Oracle for Void. So if auto rifles happen to be a champion modifier, I'm set regardless of any shield type that I need to worry about. I aim to do this with all primary weapon types, and as many special weapon types as possible. Also, having as many of the main exotics as possible is a great scenario to have for yourself. Looking at vault space, which just passed by, this will be short and sweet. Destiny Recipes suggests 50 open spaces. I want to double that and say you should have at least 100 open spaces after you've maximized Glimmer, which is what we're looking at now. Looking at Zavala's Authority or the Other Side Sparrow, these are the two best options for you. You can see I've used the Other Side Sparrow, and I have 46 Other Side Sparrows in my vault. The reason for this is we can only store a max of 250,000 Glimmer in our inventory, and then we cannot pick up any more Glimmer. I suggest to have somewhere between $250,000 and $300,000 worth of Glimmer in your vault in the Other Side Sparrow or equivalent ship. That way, when you go into the new expansion with 200,000 Glimmer on your person, you'll be able to easily refill your Glimmer from your vault and pick up new Glimmer in game. Each Other Side Sparrow in the vault is worth 5,000 Glimmer. Makes it really easy to refill, which you always need to do early in an expansion. And that brings us to the end of my guide for prepping for Witch Queen. I hope this helps in your final preparations. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the tower.